Everyone always expected me to become a painter, but once I started art school, I stopped painting, which was unexpected. I decided to focus on the digital medium, where I studied video art. And then when I decided to start painting again, I wanted to bring back that world into painting somehow. I am drawn to figurative images a lot because I think it has a specific way of grabbing people's attention. It creates this slower way of looking at this image, kind of. You become more drawn into it. I'm Emre. I'm a painter. We're in my studio currently in Amsterdam Oost. I like working with oil paint because you can work with it very slowly because it stays wet for really long. You build the painting very slowly in a lot of layers. I like sort of the idea of how that slow process contrasts to how fast images are in the age we live in. I've been working with a collection of digital images. And then I try working with these images in different ways, distorting them, projecting them on empty canvases, and sort of working with that digital language through oil paint, which is a very traditional medium. So this was from my debut series, the first series of paintings I ever exhibited. These were images from the news in Istanbul. There was a string of public coitus and nudity, which all happened around the same week, which was quite absurd. And all of these images went really viral because they were quite poignant in expressing a sort of tipping point of the political and economic situation of the country, and it sort of almost symbolized how people were feeling. I grew up in Istanbul, which sort of formed me because I lived there until I was 18 years old, and I moved to Amsterdam when I was 18. I decided to move to Amsterdam because I wanted to study in a very diverse environment and be surrounded with people from different countries. And that's what I found in Amsterdam. I found that in the school I went to, more than half of the people were from abroad. And I think that was a very important part of my formation. I always start mixing my paints with ultramarine and an umber shade. I like using Dutch oil paint. It's the best quality in the world. I use various types of linen for my paintings. Sometimes I like a more textured surface, sometimes smoother. And I always prime them myself. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hey. Namen?
Yeah.
This is my friend Mehmet. We met in Istanbul and we both ended up in Amsterdam together.
Well, I did kind of ended up because of you.
He's a brilliant writer, actually, and we collaborate as well.
I write poetry and plays, mostly, and sometimes criticism. but tiny, but it's not so strongly, I must say.
And we're usually either gossiping or drinking wine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we work together. So I did write an exhibition text for Emre. That was fun.
I start by applying the mid-tones, and then once that's dry, a layer of the darker tones, and then the highlights and the darkest tones in the very end. Even if it's a really distorted, abstracted image, I like having a figurative element, because then your eye sort of keeps searching for that, because I think it's also an essential part of our evolutionary mechanisms to search for beings around us. The distortion is a bit more subtle in the beginning, because I was still experimenting with distorting digital images. And then this led me to start collecting a lot more images and then playing around with them.
I think he has a really certain aesthetic that I really enjoy, that is based on imagery, but also theory in a way, that is quite, it's quite vibrant. I do like his paintings a lot, his style, and also how he approaches it, or research process. But then I suppose because I'm a friend that I know how the whole process works, than the normal exhibition seer, I suppose. No?
Some works in progress. And you sort of see the image quite differently from different perspectives. If you look like this, I was briefly obsessed with sheep for some reason, which I can't really explain. So I've been working with sheep figures. Amsterdam is becoming very hyper-gentrified, I would say. It's becoming very corporate. So it's interesting to also live as a creative person in such a hyper-gentrified city, where I find it's becoming a lot less spontaneous. So it's been really difficult to have independent artist-run spaces and exhibitions. I would wish there to be more available affordable spaces for young artists.
Alo.
Alo.
Görüyor musun beni?
Görüyorum. Ne haber?
İyidir senden.
İyi. Nasıl geçti günün?
Çok güzel geçti. Denize gittik geldik.
Çok güzel. Kahve yapacağım seninle konuşurken. Türk kahvesi.
Türk kahvesi yapacağız.
Ha, değirmende öğütüp cezvemle. I grew up surrounded by a lot of art because my grandmother is very much interested in art and she always took me to exhibitions, and I always joke that she groomed me to become an artist.
Değirmeninle.
Tabii ki de.
Bravissimo.
Kahve yapanların bol olsun dermiş. I was lucky to have a supportive family and supportive friends. Otherwise, I could imagine becoming lost. It can be quite difficult to move away from your family to a different country when you're very young. So you kind of have to find your new family in that place you move. Evet, ben de dedim ki. Evet, ben de yemek yapıyorum, anneannemle konuşuyorum, kahve yapıyorum falan dedim. My motivation early on were all the experiences I had, and to sort of find a way to deal with those emotions. It's really more about the process almost, in a way. By painting, I think I demonstrate my inner world.
He's not bad.
I try.
He's trying. He's trying.